Good morning, beautiful souls. Happy Friday. 2 miles Ascension update from the woods. A lot of peace and a lot of stillness in the 5th dimensional field this morning. And before I kind of tap into what I want to talk about, I'd just like to say thank you from the centre of my heart to each and every one of you who've kind of commented and sent me your love and your good wishes, because yes, it is going to be a lot quieter recording these videos now. Obviously we've got the wildlife, but with Roger choosing to move on, which we all know how tricky that can be to navigate as humans, with these attachments, these emotions, and the way that we feel about the companionship that we have in our life, whether it is a long term, whether it is a brief one. So thank you all. It is what it is, and the cycle moves on. But this field I'm feeling, I'm not sure how you might be perceiving it, but the greater field, the established field, the one that we have micromanaged, macro-managed, set up, filled with golden light, got established. It's a majority energy that we've all added to, but all eyes at the moment are being asked to kind of be cast upon the scrum, the energetic kind of fizzing, thrashing kind of mess that is the 3D matrix. And as we've been kind of looking at and perceiving for a long time, the next attempt or wave is being kind of conjured or built up within there. We're already starting to see the evidence of it in the news. The media are starting to bring it in. Is it going to be another invisible enemy, or is it going to be somebody coming for, you know, like the somebody coming from the stars? There's all of these different perceptions, but most importantly, what we are witnessing, what I'm seeing amongst the field is almost like this sense of exasperation. It's like, really, haven't you lot got bored yet? No, they haven't got bored. They haven't got bored yet, because their very soul existence at that frequency depends on it. Okay, so if you look at it from the point of view that those that are sustaining power within the 3D matrix have had that power for a long time, okay, 10,000 years, or to be more precise, or maybe even 10,100 years. They gained power at the fall of Atlantis, okay, by employing very similar kinds of energetic and psychological tactics that are being witnessed around the world at the moment. And they've maintained it throughout, like a cycle, almost evading the wheel of karma and the reincarnation. Okay, so this is how it's been done. But it's got to crunch time now, okay? It's got to the point where it has come to a head. And so the actions are utterly desperate. They are, right, well, that hasn't worked. This hasn't had the right effect. Let's roll out the next one. And in the meantime, you and I and all of the others are feeling a little bit kind of almost a bit bored, well, extremely bored by it all, a little bit battle worn. You know, really, can people still be believing this? But nevertheless, it is coming our way, okay? So we've got a variety of choices with which how to navigate this, how to deal with it. On one side, it's very tempting to immediately try and shake awake those that are still sleeping and say, look, this is happening again. Are you going to believe it this time round? Or do we sit back, hold the light, shine even brighter, and establish a very solid field? Now, I want to tell you how I saw this working. This is years ago. Okay, now when all of these plans were made to maintain power within the third dimensional matrix, and this is the matrix, for those of you that might be new to the channel, the 3D matrix is where Earth has been since its conception, since humans began to work and be schooled upon this planet. Okay, apart from the appearance of golden eras during the times, the one I'm always very drawn and attached to is the Atlantean era, the golden era of Atlantis, which lasted for 1,500 years, and it wasn't that long ago. It was a marvelous and magical time, but that energy couldn't be sustained at that height of that frequency when everything else was so dense. So we have got this collection of power, of souls who have granted themselves a huge amount of power at the expense of the energy of other people. And in order to basically survive the shift that is occurring on this world at the moment, they planned in advance, and they planned meticulously for thousands of years to establish pillars of authority in high profile places, so that it's almost like every act that they bring forth is already been preempted, and the reaction of people has been preempted. But one thing that they overlooked, and this was something that I saw a long time ago, is that to activate these plans, they have to have the boundary of energy within which those plans were made. And this planet is no longer vibrating at that frequency. So we can see all of the actions taking place, but it's almost like lighting fireworks in the rain. There's fizzing, there's a little bit of kind of activity. Everyone stands back and goes, ooh, like that. Waits for the kind of the spectacle, but the rain puts it out. So again, we are going to be seeing this occurring, and it might even look like the firework stays lit. It might even look like it's going to shoot a few Roman candles up, and on a perception level it might, but ultimately the rain will overcome the firework. It will not stay lit. So this, I feel very strongly, is something to take into the next phase. Okay, it's summertime, or it's coming towards, it's late spring in the UK and in Europe. Everybody's out doing what they want to do, making plans, traveling again. We've had that kind of leeway to allow people to kind of smooth their way back into kind of what we'd call, in inverted commas, normal life. Whereas those of us on the light path and those with the knowledge and the foresight are just waiting for the next phase within which we've got to hold our frequency as high as possible. That phase has arrived now. Okay, so we all knew it was coming. And so how do we compassionately witness from an observer viewpoint something which has the inevitability to trigger us? Okay, how do we do that? Well, it's not, there's no sugary pill for that. There's no, you can't fluff your way through things that trigger you. You can't talk kind of, you can't talk the kind of like the language without having to experience the energy at the moment. That's very much the 2022 is not just the year where we embody our truth and our mastery. It is also the year where the ascended masters and the unicorns and the angels and the dragons and the whole of the ascended realms have gathered round us, and it's almost like jumping off the high board at the swimming pool. You're looking down, it looks really, really far, you don't want to do it, and then somebody behind you starts giving you a shove. Well, that's very much like that's how I feel and see where we are at the moment. We're on the high board. We've got everyone behind us just slowly pushing us forwards. We're moving anyway, but we've got all of this back up. We've got all of this back up for the next phase. So you might already be feeling this. You might already be sensing and seeing it in the field. You might be feeling the huge amount of pressure that comes in with the next wave of light coding. It was I did the 3rd workshop with Mir Kafkios and the One Unity generation last night, and was shown very clearly that our planet needed a downpouring of the golden rainbow fire, or the violet flame, or the cosmic diamond violet flame. So this was established for 21 days. I'm going to do it again on Meditation Monday. Bring in a unified field that has the power to alchemize anything that is out of integrity with it. Okay, this is the course of action that we're being asked to take at the moment. So whereas we're starting to maybe feel a little bit triggered, a little bit, oh, you know, like, oh, I've got to take action to stop all this happening again. The way through this at the moment, I believe, is to keep flowing with the energy. The plans are the plans, okay? The 3D matrix will continue to roll out everything that it's planned to do, but these plans can only work if the vibration around them is sustained at the same frequency. This is the one thing that they didn't see in advance, or they couldn't do anything about, okay? Preventing the ascension, or you're never gonna prevent the ascension of the planet. I don't think this was ever in the mix. But what they were attempting, or are attempting to do, is make sure that their ability to continue to thrive is sustained by having enough people still plugged into it to keep the whole thing going. And of course, with every person that wakes up on the ascension pathway, it's another light that goes out. It's another source of food that unplugs and moves away. So this is a very similar format that I'm looking at this morning, that I've been looking at previously, especially during 2020, the first year. And the beautiful part about what we do as masters, sometimes it feels a little bit like we haven't got the verification or the jewels or the prize at the end of the effort, because the way that I see that we know that we've done our job properly is because life continues and the frequency continues to rise. All of these things that have been predicted, all of these fear seeds that have been planted in, have not grown, they have not completed, they have not reached fruition, and eventually the seed box will be empty. Okay, so we're getting pretty low in their seed stock supply is getting lower and lower. With each of these attempts to bring everybody back into the field of fear, to lock the 3rd dimensional matrix down at its capacity, the supply runs shorter and shorter, and with each attempt more and more people wake up. So let's begin to look at what happens next as another gift, okay? Another period of time that has the incredible potential to wake up yet more people, gives us more of an opportunity to establish a stronger boundary of light, to form our communities energetically and physically, and to really become those anchor points, those pillars of strength, pillars of radiance, truth and light. But without having to stand on our soapboxes, lose our decorum, and basically meet them on their level, the level of the playing field. So ultimately, it's only May this year. I mean, we're cruising now to, we're a month away from the solstice, and we're being asked to act like ascended masters. How does that feel? Okay, so in order to navigate what we're experiencing, what we're going to experience, we need to act and embody and feel and be ascended in our views, our emotional responses, the way that we are engaging with this field. We are above fear, okay? We are above the discord and the unharmonious scenarios that they are asking us to engage with. We're well and truly over that needing to kind of think twice about the party invitations. I remember talking about the 3D party invitations back in 2020, where you've just left the party, okay? You've walked out of there, you're like, right, I'm absolutely done with that. But all of your old friends are like waving at the window, come back, it's really boring here without you. We're well past that now, because we're not going to walk back into the party and continue what we were doing previously. We're going to walk down the road, go and get a cup of coffee, go home, have an early night and do whatever. So that is essentially where we are at the moment. So everything that you will be seeing will be almost tediously predictable. It's like, come on, this has happened. This has happened now. This is happening now. This has happened previously. We can feel the field that is supporting that, and it's completely out of integrity. And so therefore, engage with everything in your master role, your ascended self, okay? This is a good thing to do on a daily basis, a daily practice, is holding that inner serenity regardless of what happens, okay? So anything can occur in our lives, you know. Life, as it has proved to me this week, can be completely unpredictable. One minute you're sailing the highest peak of the wave, the next minute it comes crashing down on top of you and it holds you on the bottom, okay? These things are to be navigated from the highest perspective possible, but whilst acknowledging our humanness at the same time, that raw fragility that we do have, because many of us have covered it up with our spirituality, and sometimes spirituality can be it can be just a disguise for a plethora of things that are shouting to be dealt with. But I believe that a lot of us, if not all of us, have had the opportunity to engage with the shadow work now enough to be able to hold that role as an ascended master, even on the days that we really, really don't feel like doing it. That's the important thing, because there are going to be days coming up. There are going to be days where we are feeling just absolutely like we can't do it. Can't do it. It's all too much. It's too much responsibility. There's too much to do. There's too much energy work. The clearing the blocks is boring. People need too much of your time, your light, of your attention. At that point, you just bring it back to center. You bring it back to center. Breathe, recharge, take everything back into your heart center, and then you step back out again. These processes have trained us, or these situations have trained us very well. Next phase, we're going to be asked to employ it. So begin today, okay? Be that ascended master. Even if you are new to all of this, and even the term ascended master is kind of like, you know, what's an ascended master? You know, what does that engage? Is that not a little bit kind of putting ourselves in a box, or putting the term master on a pedestal? I saw a post about this the other day saying, you know, like the whole ascended master thing is just a trick of the mind, an egoic trap. To acknowledge your victories on your learning path is not egoic, okay? To have given yourself the pat on the back and the acknowledgement that you deserve for living on this planet and traversing what you have been presented with, or what you actually signed in your soul agreement. I think we deserve, at this point in time, the self-love and the self-acknowledgement to actually stand as masters of Earth, okay? Because we've had to master this process, and we're going to have to master what the next phase is. And when that's completed, we're going to have to master the next phase after that. But there's no reason why we have to continue to struggle, okay? Struggle is the engagement of lower, it means you're engaging with the lower will. And yes, we have to work hard. Yes, we have to achieve what we've set out to achieve. But then at the end of it, you've stepped up. You've navigated that. You've achieved that rise in vibration, no matter how hard it was. So take these steps as the most important phase of your ascension journey. So the ascended masters standing around us, having navigated whatever they navigated during their incarnations, are now asking you to do the same, asking me to do the same, become the masters of Earth. The next phase needs masters, it needs leaders, it needs teachers, it needs people who are going to take the energy reins and lead by vibration, okay? Leadership doesn't have to be the guy in the shiniest suit shouting the loudest in front of the big crowd. Leadership is energy. Leadership is actions, examples, setting the tone of the energy for other people to rise to. And I do believe we are now at the threshold of having the opportunity to really start shining. So that is my thoughts for the day. And I will be back on Monday with a meditation Monday. And I think we're going to be looking at, you can start early if you want to start the downloading of the violet flame, the downpourings. There's one in place for the next 21 days at the moment. Join in, bring those pillars of the violet flame, the cosmic diamond violet flame, the lilac fire of source, the golden rainbow fire, and anchor it wherever you are on this planet. It doesn't matter whether you're in the, more importantly, the more built up your area and your surroundings, the more effective the violet flame is. Always remember Saint Germain saying, it wasn't directly to me, but it was somebody else, that if you removed all of the other tools from the ascension pathway, all of the other gem rays, the protections, the cloaks, the other flames, the energies that come in, and you were only left with the violet flame, that would be enough to get this entire planet through the ascension process, just the violet flame alone. Start anchoring it in now, and I'll do a guided meditation on Monday. Lots of love and see you soon. Bye for now.